Ready?
Arne.
Switch places today.
Arne, how much was tonight one of those nights where you came away with a lot less than you deserved?
It was the best game of football I was ever involved in. I don't have the history like Liverpool as a manager, but two teams of incredible level with incredible intensity in the first 25 minutes. Okay, I also remember the first 25 against Man City at home and the first 25 against Madrid, but this was unbelievable what we showed in the first 25. And I looked at the scoreboard and we were 1-0 down. Over 90 minutes, I don't think we deserve to lose this game of football today. Over 180 minutes, maybe it was deserved that we went to overtime. In overtime, I thought Paris Saint-Germain was a bit better than us, so in this half hour. And then it comes down to penalties, and yeah, they scored 4, we 2, and we lost.
How do you pick the lads up, because they've had such a good season? Obviously, we know how well they've done in the league stage of this competition as well. It must come as a massive shock to the system to go out, albeit against a side of the quality of Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, of course it's a shock, and it's maybe not the moment to tell them now, but and I didn't tell them as well, but I can say it here that last season we weren't involved in the Champions League. 2 seasons ago, we Liverpool went out against Madrid after losing, I think, 5-2 at home. So if you have to go out, then go out in a way like we did against one of the best teams in Europe, and making such a fight out of it. I hope and think that every fan around the world was hoping that this game just kept on going, just wouldn't stop, because it was incredible. And they in the end won. And for us, it's so unlucky that if you are number 1 in the league table, that you then face Paris Saint-Germain, which is one of the best teams in Europe. But yeah, that's the format we are in, and we have to accept it, and we will come back stronger next season.
And you do still have that chance of silverware at the weekend, but I just wonder, what is the physical cost tonight? Because obviously we saw Trent Alexander-Arnold and Ibrahima Konate go off injured. What's their situation?
I have to ask it, but for me, Ibu was more that he was tired than it was an injury. With Trent, he had to come off. That's never a good sign. And from what I heard from people that saw the images or how he got injured, that didn't look very good. So I would be surprised if he's available for Sunday. Now the good thing is that we play his final on Sunday. So mentally, that's probably the best you can ask for, because this is where we are playing football for, to play finals. And then there's 2 weeks in between before we start, 2.5 weeks in between before we start the season again. And if we can play 9 times with this intensity, and then once we play at home with the same intensity from the fans as well, then I'm really looking forward to the end of the season.
James.
Hi, Arne. What were your thoughts on the penalties? Because it's a really daunting place for an opposition team to have to take penalties here, so it's probably quite surprising to see the scoreline as it was after the shootout.
Nah, the way they scored the penalties didn't feel to me as if they were impressed. And it's also part of football. If you want to win things, you win sometimes the penalty shootout as well. Argentina showed that in the World Cup against the Dutch team, and now Paris Saint-Germain showed it. I don't know how it was in the history of Liverpool, but normally, if the games are so tight over 2 games, you have to win 1 out of 3, 4 times if you want to win this tournament, a penalty shootout as well. And they did, and we didn't. So that's all I can say about it.
Do you think your players were nervous?
Sorry?
Do you think your players were nervous in the shootout?
We're nervous? I don't know. I haven't asked them. I think everybody is a bit nervous when he has to take a penalty. But these players have a history of scoring almost every penalty they take. Well, yeah, every circumstance is always different. But unlucky.
Rich.
Yeah, hi Arne. You sort of mentioned earlier about if you win the group, it's a bit unlucky to face PSG. Does winning the group count for anything now? I mean, you've beaten Real Madrid in this Champions League and you've beaten Bayer Leverkusen. Does that count for anything, or do you just sort of, at the moment, you're just feeling disappointed about being knocked out tonight?
No, of course, that last thing. I'm feeling disappointed about being knocked out. I do feel in the end of the season it does matter how we presented ourselves in Europe. I just said that we were not in Champions League level last season, and this season we really showed ourselves. We can be proud of what we did. We won 7 games in a row, then we played with the substitute loss against PSG, and I think we played. Now, maybe last week not our best game, but today we saw a completely different Liverpool. So we go out in a way that I think we've impressed Europe. But it is something now to take in consideration how much of worth it is to end up first in the league table. If you and face, but it too soon now. It would be more fair that after the in between round is there, then that the one that wins the league table plays against the team that's lowest positions after the teams have played. But yeah, that is also because we were so unlucky to play Paris Saint-Germain, because we could have also gone to the other side of the draw. But in the end, if you want to win the tournament, you have to beat teams like Paris Saint-Germain. And that's what we didn't do today after an incredible first 90 minutes of football of us.
Gentleman at the back in the red.
Hi, Coach. Considering what you saw today and the first game, do you think PSG can win the title this season?
Yeah, they can. They can. But unfortunately for them, they're not the only team that can win it. And it's always about two games. So then luck and bad luck can play a part as well. So in a whole season, so the team that wins the Premier League or the Liga or the Serie A or whatever competition, always the best team wins that competition. But it's not to say if it's only about 2 games, then luck or bad luck or referee decision can influence a game. Fortunately enough for us and for Paris Saint-Germain, we were 2 great referees away in Paris and tonight as well. Both times the referees were outstanding. But yeah, they can, but there are other teams that can win it as well. And if they play like this and they have everyone fit, they have a fair and very good chance, yes.
Is it your favorite?
I haven't played all of them. I like Barcelona at the moment a lot as well. Arsenal is a very good team. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich is impressive. So it's going to be a close goal like it was tonight. And then if they go to the quarterfinal or semi-final and they have to take penalties, maybe then the other team would win it. I don't know. But they are one of the richest clubs in Europe, so it's not such a surprise that they compete every season for winning the Champions League.
Amy at the very back.
Hi Arne, it was a privilege to watch both matches. You mentioned earlier that PSG was a little bit better in extra time. What was that down to? Do you have the impression that maybe PSG was a little bit fresher, and if so, how much of an impact does the Premier League have on that?
No, I don't think the last thing has any influence on that. I think in the second half of normal time, we looked fresher and better. There was only one team, in my opinion. I was waiting for us to show Scalia got the free kick and hit one just over the bar. But maybe these were the only 2 times that they had a shot on target in the second half. We had the header on the post. So these are the margins where we talk about. I think Mo had a shot that was cleared off the line. So many set pieces we had. We came really close. But I have to give credit to Paris Saint-Germain as well, because if you have to play in this stadium and you're able to get a 1-0 win over the line after 90 minutes, then you have to be a very, very, very good team to be able to do so.
Thank you, everyone.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir Luis, Dominique Sarac du Parisien. Bravo pour la qualification. Quelles sont les émotions?
On getting through. How do you feel? What are the emotions you're feeling at the moment?
Evidentemente una sensación de alegría, de satisfacción, y es realmente difícil analizar ahora el partido porque las emociones están al 100%, pero claramente creo que es un momento importante para nosotros, para los jugadores, el equipo y nuestros aficionados, especialmente los 3.000 o 4.000 que vinieron hoy aquí.
Well, clearly I'm happy. I'm really pleased with our performance. It's difficult to analyse the game today because I'm still have all of these feelings buzzing around in my head. But I think it's a really significant moment for us, for the players and the supporters and the 3,000 or 4,000 supporters who followed us to Liverpool. Well, should we be talking about an incredible feat, an achievement tonight, or should we just be saying it was a well-deserved victory?
Nunca digo qué es lo que tenéis que decir. Vosotros sois periodistas y analizáis los partidos. Yo lo que creo es que cualquiera de los dos equipos que hubiera pasado hoy habría sido justo. Creo que nosotros merecimos mucho más y es algo que se reflejó claramente después del primer partido, y hoy creo que nosotros hemos mostrado el tipo de equipo que somos, que hemos sido a lo largo de ya la temporada pasada, pero especialmente esta temporada, un equipo con mucha personalidad, con mucho carácter, que sale a jugar su fútbol en el estadio que sea, a pesar de que hoy ha habido muchos momentos que el Liverpool nos ha superado, pero no hemos renunciado a seguir atacando, a intentar generar peligro, y nos hemos adelantado bastante rápido y creo que hemos estado a la altura de lo que necesitaba este partido.
Well, far be it from me to tell you how to analyse this game. You're the journalist, you know what you want about it, but I think that either of the two teams could have gone through today. We both deserve to go through, I think. I think perhaps we deserved it slightly more, certainly over the course of the first game, and I think today we've shown what sort of team we are. We already showed that to some extent last season. We have a huge strength of character, personality, a team that goes out to play its own football regardless of where we're playing. Okay, tonight there were times when Liverpool had the upper hand. Perhaps they were slightly better than us, but we never gave up attacking, taking the game to them, creating danger. And I think that certainly we put in a top performance, which is exactly what we needed to do. I know we're talking about collective success, but this evening Donnarumma played a really, really important role, didn't he? After all, perhaps he wasn't great last week, and certainly when he conceded the goal at the end of the game. But you know, what do you think about Donnarumma? Not just the penalties, but also he came out, punched away a lot of the free kicks. And what did you think about his performance?
El segundo es del señor Donnarumma, o sea que en eso hemos empatado 1-1. Hemos empatado también en el resultado después de 90 minutos e incluso con la prórroga. Y luego los penaltis, pues yo creo que los penaltis también reflejan qué tipo de equipo somos. El último penalti lo tira Desiré Doué con 19 años, sin ningún problema. Creo que Gillo ha estado soberbio todo el partido. Liverpool es un equipo muy poderoso en el juego aéreo, de los mejores equipos de Europa en esas lides, y Gillo hoy ha dado un extra en esas situaciones, ha ayudado muchísimo al equipo y ha estado soberbio. O sea que muy contentos por Gillo, muy contentos por el equipo y muy contentos en general con todo.
Well, I think we could sum things up by saying the first game belonged to Alisson Becker, the second game belonged to Donnarumma, didn't it? And, it ended up 1-1, didn't it? After 90 minutes, it was still 1-1. After the extra time, it was still 1-1. And I think the penalties reflect the type of team that we are. You bear in mind that our last penalty was taken by Désiré Doué, 19-year-old, and Donnarumma, I think, was magnificent. We have to bear in mind that Liverpool are one of the best teams in Europe, particularly when it comes to putting balls into the box, high balls, and yet Donnarumma really coped with their crosses and free kicks really well. I'm pleased for him, pleased for the team, and pleased about everything this evening. Well, the fact of the matter is that Donnarumma really makes a difference, I think, in these big top matches, doesn't he?
Barcelona, este año este resultado, por lo extraño que fue el primer partido y por los méritos que hicimos, pues era una obligación para nosotros y, repito, creo que hemos estado a la altura. El año pasado hicimos una gran Champions, os recuerdo que quedamos eliminados en semifinales tirando 6 tiros a los postes, con lo cual creo que merecimos estar en la final del año pasado, y este año ya estamos en cuartos. Evidentemente esta es una competición que no premia la regularidad. Si premiara la regularidad, creo que tendríamos más opciones, porque nosotros somos un equipo estable y que juega prácticamente igual fuera que en casa, pero esta es una competición a doble partido, cometes un error y te puedes quedar eliminado. Así que, repito, creo que son partidos que te hacen crecer y son partidos que dan una alegría incuestionable a nuestros aficionados.
Well, I remember something happened last year which was pretty similar in Barcelona, and this year, particularly given the result last week and the chances we didn't take, we absolutely had to win tonight, and that's what we set out to do. I'd also like to remind you that last year we got knocked out in the semi-finals. We hit the frame of the goal 6 times in the game, and now we're through to the next round here. But in the Champions League, it's not enough just to be consistent, because we are a really consistent team, a very stable team. We play virtually in the same way, week in, week out, at home and away. But when you're playing in the Champions League, you've got 2 games to play. The slightest error can get you knocked out. But these type of games help us to develop and give us a great deal of joy, not least of all, of course, to our supporters. Well, I think you said before this game, we want to win, and you did win the game, and obviously over the course of the 2 games it finished 1-1, but you won on penalties. What we could see the group was so cohesive as you went into the penalties. Can what's happened today make you even more ambitious? I mean, after all, you've knocked out the top seed in the Champions League tonight, haven't you?
Me gusta lo que he visto, aunque en el partido ha habido momentos en los que hemos sido superados, y el Liverpool, por eso es uno de los mejores equipos de Europa, ha merecido marcar gol, pero hemos aguantado, hemos tenido personalidad, y los penaltis es una lotería, pero no es una lotería. Creo que el estado de ánimo de mis jugadores, cómo han tirado los penaltis, con la personalidad, con el acierto, y luego con, evidentemente, Gillo, que ha estado soberbio, nos refuerza nuestra idea. Queda un partido el fin de semana muy importante para nosotros, y a partir de ahí ya vendrá el parón de selecciones. Creo que seguimos en una muy buena dinámica y contentos de haber ganado aquí hoy.
C'est évident que...
Well, clearly, this gives us a boost. I mean, I really liked what I saw tonight, even though sometimes Liverpool did have the upper hand. Liverpool, as I've already said, are one of the best teams in Europe. They might perhaps have deserved to score tonight, but once again, we showed our character, our personality. People often talk about penalties being a lottery. Well, they are to a certain extent, but very often they're not either. I mean, mindset comes into it. Our players had a great mindset going into the penalties, I think, and then we had Donnarumma as well. This confirms what I already thought about our team. We've got an important game coming against Marseille at the weekend, and then there's going to be the international break. But I think that we're going to take this momentum into our forthcoming games, and once again, I'm really happy that we won tonight. Well, we knew before these two games that the eyes of European football would be focused on these two games. You've won over the course of the two teams. This makes you, I think, one of the big favourites for the Champions League in the eyes of everyone, of the players, of the managers, football fans. What does this change for you? Because you've got a really young group of players, haven't you? What does it mean to you now being one of the favourites to win the Champions League, and how can this impact perhaps the players?
Comentaristas, entrenadores, jugadores que hablen bien de ti como equipo, me parece maravilloso. No va a cambiar nuestra mentalidad, no va a cambiar nuestra intención, que es evidentemente llegar lo más lejos posible en esta competición y estar en disposición de ganarla. Ese es nuestro objetivo. Y repito, creo que cualquiera de los dos equipos que hubiera pasado tendría un estatus el mismo de los otros 7 equipos que van a pasar, y a partir de aquí hay que ir poco a poco pensando en lo difícil que es esta competición, lo difícil que es ganarla, pero es evidente que refuerza. Era a priori uno de los enfrentamientos, creo, más potentes que se podía ver en Europa, y así lo hemos demostrado los dos equipos.
Toutes les choses positives.
Well, all of the positive things that happen when a team does well are good for us, whether it be comments made by players, coaches, journalists. We always like to be well spoken of, but that doesn't change anything in terms of our mindset, our intentions. We intend to go as far as possible to try to go as far as possible in the Champions League and perhaps win it. Obviously, by going through tonight, then we've elevated our own level, but now we're only at the same level as the other 17s, which will go through to the quarterfinals anyway. It's really difficult to win this competition, of course, but we're set out to do so. We'll continue to try to do so. And tonight's game was a top match. Both teams showed that they're top teams as well, of course, this evening.
Luis, ¿qué tal? Buenas noches. Dani Gil de la cadena COPE. En primer lugar, felicidades. Quiero que me cuentes un poquito la fotografía de cómo estaba el vestuario después del partido. Si para ti también es una de las noches más emotivas de tu carrera, y si entiendes que a ojos de muchos equipos os vean como el gran favorito a ganar la Champions. Gracias.
No puedo controlar lo que piensan los demás. Repito, cualquier cosa alrededor del equipo que sea positivo nos encanta. Después de una victoria como esta, ya habéis visto cómo lo hemos celebrado con nuestros aficionados, y en el vestuario ha habido la fiesta habitual, sabiendo que no hemos hecho todavía nada, pero que hemos eliminado a uno de los mejores equipos de Europa, sin ninguna duda.
Donc la question était
So the question, first and foremost, congratulations. Can you just tell me a little bit about what happened in the dressing room straight after the game? Is this one of the greatest nights of your life as a manager? And do you agree that you're now one of the favourites to win the competition? And the answer, well, when people talk about us and congratulate us, we're always happy. You can see how much it meant to us. You can see how we celebrated with our fans on the pitch. We've continued that over into the dressing room, but we haven't done anything yet. We still have a lot to do. Now, you've said, well, you don't really practice penalties because it's difficult to create the same atmosphere. And so did you practice them? And also, were you a little bit afraid that you wouldn't get Ramos on in time to take a penalty?
Tocar cosas me refiero en cuanto a los cambios. Ha habido